that's interesting for me as not only an admirer of your career and your music is the longevity. I read an interview once where you said that you and other iconic punk rock musicians of your time like GBH and Discharge kept punk alive. Let me ask you this. At some point in time, and you're realizing this just as I am in my age, that it's all mental in regards to fighting and keep fighting the system and being rebellious and subversive, but the body can only take so much. How do you keep that energy on stage?
Just my love for the music, and just like I love the music. It's like sometimes, like my health's been really bad the last 5 years. I've been really ill. I've been dying almost. I should be dead. Been told 6 times I should be dead, and but I go on stage, but just like I just got a buzz with the energy of the people and the music. That makes me like for that hour and a half, whatever. I feel fucking fantastic.
Is it the energy that you're getting from the generation that recognized you from back in the day and also the generations after, that energy of multi-generational audiences?
No, it's just the people that come to the show. It's just like what the feedback from them. Just keeps you want to keep going. And when I can't do it anymore, my body tells me I'm fucked. I can't give it 100%. Then I'll call it a day.
But if I remember correctly, didn't you have a heart attack on stage while performing?
Yeah, I had a massive heart attack in Portugal.
Did you finish the set?
No, I fucking ended up in the fucking heart. Ended up in the heart ward.
What goes through your mind when that happens?
Death.
No, but are you scared shitless? Because at that point you're so vulnerable.
I've had 5 heart attacks. I've had a quad heart bypass. I got a pacemaker fitted 5 months ago.
Jesus.
Right, so I had a gastric bypass a year and a half ago. The gastric bypass. I was really fat, but I was that ill. Then I've lost all the weight, and that's the music gets me by. But sometimes before the show, sometimes I feel like tired and like fucking hell, hope I can do this. But when I go on stage, I feel touch me up, been feeling okay.
Would it be safe to say that at the age that we're at,
I'm 61.
Incredible. You're healthier. You look healthier than I am. But when you go through that, what goes into your mind as far as thinking? Do you change into like a higher power belief? Do you? You mentioned you lost weight. Do you go into a more direction of what you're eating and consuming?
Totally. Well, I had a gastric bypass, so my stomach's that size now.
Oh, you had that?
I had a gastric bypass. A year and a half ago, and almost died. Almost died in the theatre. A 4-hour operation took them 10 hours. I was in intensive care for 6 days. Fucking, so I should be dead. But I done all that and exercise and started walking and exercising just so I could come back and do gigs. Because this is my life. This is what I know. And this is what I love.
But as you know, this
it's a massive sacrifice, and it's mentally fucking hard as fuck. Really mentally hard. I mean, you're totally like breathless and you're totally fucked. And you see, you think this is not me. This is not how I should be. This is not me. And then I wanted to sell about it, so I done something about it.
One of the things that I want to get into is the fact that, as you mentioned, the changes that you've incurred because of the status of your health. But as you know, this subgenre of music, it appeals to individuals like ourselves that we didn't feel we were a part of something, we were separate from society, we weren't swallowing their bullshit at that time. But here we are, adults.
Yeah.
And of course,
we're wiser.
Of course, aside from being wiser, we're survivors. But also,
some of us survive, some don't.
But what about the emotional, mental status? Did you go through any sort of like therapy or anything to deal with all these decades of living the life?
Nah, I done 34 years of doing drugs, speed, every day, 34 years, every day. Apart from twice, I got busted twice. I done speed every day, till I need speed to go to sleep, till I need to wake up. I was fucking, and that and drinking, when I had to stop that, that's where I started to get heart attacks and that. But the music got me through the first half of well, most of my career. Sorry, I forgot the question. I forgot what the question was.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to say, let's get back to the music. The Exploited has had a long legacy and a long history of really, from the beginning till even now, breaking barriers and going against the grain, and definitely, as you've mentioned and it's been documented in the past, doing what you want and putting 110% into it. Here we are, 2019. As we mentioned before, the political climate is back the same as when I discovered it 30, 40 years ago.
It's back to that, yeah. You're right.
Do you find this, what's going down in current events, inspiring new music?
New music, or do you mean punk music? Like, to me, like over the years, you get like all these bands like pop punk bands, and that's shit. That's pop punk. That's no fucking nothing to do with punk. That's nothing to do with punk. Punk's aggressive music. Punk's fucking energy. Punk's fucking anti-social for anti-social issues. That's real punk. Exploited are like real, like, really like fucking just like ultimate like punk, hardcore punk. No hardcore as an American hardcore, but be like a fucking, be like just like a totally 100% punk band, like no old beliefs that like fucking write songs about like the governments and stuff and things that are politically, things that like fucking you stand up for yourself and be your own person. But like, but I don't really. I see quite a few new bands who are still coming up with the same beliefs, the same values. Recently, but for the last 10 years before that, I've never seen that. But now I travel the world and see younger bands with the same beliefs, yeah. So that's a good thing.
I don't want to get this into a sentimental angle, but here's the deal: you are a true inspiration. Aside from being true to what you do, aside from definitely being real and traveling around the world in regions of the world where they are able to have a voice, you go and you play these different parts of the world and you receive such a welcoming and such an acceptance.
It makes me humble. It makes me humble, totally humble. It's like when people write to us, even with these gigs in America here, for like people who've never seen us before, going, oh, that's the best gig I've ever been to in my life. That's fucking the best gig I've seen. For me, that's better than money. You can't buy that. That's respect. That's something that kid will always remember his whole life. When he's older, when he's 40, when he's old and I'm dead and that, he'll go, I remember when I was a kid, I went to see Exploited and it's fucking great band. And for me, that's priceless. That's worth everything I've been through. Everything's worthwhile.
The Exploited. What can I say that hasn't been said already? Aside from speaking of Waddy, the man, the icon, is definitely an example definitely displays the example of being true.
I'm an honest person, I never lie. I always say what I think. There's no matter what. Even sometimes, maybe I shouldn't say things, but I always say what I think. That's one thing, we call many things, but one thing I don't do, I never lie ever about anything. Somebody asks me a question on them someday, what I think of them, I'll tell them to their face, that's what I do, what I think.
Let me ask you, do you still have conflict with Conflict and Crass?
It's funny.
They're 40 years later?
No. We did until about a year ago when I had my last heart attack. Well, 2 years ago, I had my last heart attack. And Colin, I got loads of like goodwill messages. And Colin, the Conflict sent me an email, my message saying, I hope you're okay. I heard you're dying. I hope you get better. So I thought, oh well, fuck it, forget that. I'm 50 old. Forget about the past, the past shit.
Yeah.
And then we did a concert with them about 3 weeks ago in Scotland. We played a concert with Conflict, first time ever in their history, right? And they were actually fucking really good. I was really surprised how good they were. They were really good. Yeah. And so now when I saw the past, just let that go. It's like.
Do you still feel that same way for Jello Biafra and Henry Rollins?
I hate the cunts. No, what it is with him, I hate people that are two-faced. I hate people. I've been lied to of people, my dad, my family, and that, my whole life, and it's affected my life. So I fucking hate liars, and I tell my kids, I don't mind whatever you do. If you even murder somebody, I will still love you. But if you ever lied to me, I'll have nothing to do with you. Because if you lie to me about something stupid or that, I can never trust or believe a word you say. So it's a big thing in my life. So the thing with Jello Biafra and Henry Rollins is, Jello Biafra he was in the UK, and he'd done a tour, and he done an interview, and he said, well, what bands do you like? He named all these bands he liked. And then a few months later I was in the US, and I was reading Flipside or fucking rock and roll magazine, rock and roll fucking whatever it was, and I was reading the interview. He goes, "What have you been up to?" He goes, "I was in Europe, and all the bands that he said he liked in the UK, they came back. He's told, oh, this is shit, they're wank, and blah blah blah." and I thought, well, a two-faced cunt. Why don't I just say like they're shit? Well, and that's what I don't like about it. And then with Henry Rollins, met him years ago, and with Black Flag, and I used to like Black Flag, the first single and that. And they wrote a lot of shit. We done a festival and there's loads of skinheads, but back in the day it was loads of punks and skinheads were the same. But it was loads of skinheads, and he tried to say like they were with us, they wouldn't be us. And he tried to say I tried to shoot him he put in his book that I tried to shoot him with a shotgun. It was an air pistol. An air pistol with a BB gun. It's like,
are you serious?
Yeah, I tried to shoot him. I can't remember because I was with my face on drugs. But like, he said I tried to shoot him, but I had an air pistol, and he put in his book it was a shotgun.
Wow.
And I thought, what a fucking liar!
Yeah.
Hey, what a fucking total bullshitting cunt. And that's why. That's the two things that's what I don't like about him, because they're liars. That's my personal gripe with them.
So time doesn't really heal all wounds after all, right?
Well, no, with that, 'cause I hate it's like I hate liars. I just hate liars.
Yeah.
And it's like I think with punk music, it's like with punk music, most punk bands they put an image of like with their lyrics say this is what we believe in, this is what we're true to, and a lot of the bands it's just a kid on. So the kid on to sell records and they believe in in that at all. Yeah. And that's and so for me it's been explained what we write in the lyrics then is I believe 100%, 110% of music. I believe in 100% in that music.
You walk the walk.
I totally walk the walk. Even it's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not saying we're the best or anything, but the people that believe in us, people that buy records can believe, they believe in what I believe in, and I'll never ever exploit that. I'll never ever exploit that shit of them ever. That's why if we do an album, it's taken a long time to do an album, but if I had to do an album, I could do 4 albums tomorrow. It'd be shit. I'll never do that, because if I done that, then everyone who's followed the band all these years, I'd be laughing at them, and that will never happen.